are here at Mid-Ohio for our very last track weekend, and I am in HPDE3. So HPDE1 was very much the basics, learning the line, learning how to brake correctly, and then 2 was very much situational awareness and then really hammering those braking points down. So 3 is going to be kind of learning how to deal with traffic around you, very much more situational awareness, but this time with cars beside you, passing, like being in close proximity to one another. So it's going to be that big jump from 2 to 3 where they're bunching you up on purpose, not just, okay, we're going to reverse grid so you guys get bunched up. Now we're doing it on purpose the entire time. And then 4 is where you're like basically racing. So 3 is that kind of stepping stone before 4 to get you prepared to race. So this next drill, we're gonna do side by side. For 1 lap, we're gonna go, me and then my partner's a 944. We're gonna go all the way around the track just like this. And then after that, we're just doing passing, like a mini passing drill is what they're calling it, where we just pass and pass and pass and pass each other all the way around the track. And then I think after that, it's just green flag. We started out with the side-by-side drill. So Jeff and his 944 and myself and the GTI were just going around the track like this. It was a very slow drill. It's not technically supposed to be like that. It's not 100%, but it's like probably 75. So we were kind of bunched up with the people in front of us, having to stay side by side, but also watching those people in front of us was a lot of fun. But then, you know, keeping up with the other racers because they have so much more experience than I do has been really cool to like learn from them and see how they drive as well. Are you ready for this?
She was a nervous wreck. Really hard on herself, not super confident, which is to be expected. I mean, I was the same way. So she was just like really got her nerves worked up and was more or less just kind of freaking out.
Get them babies warmed up.
From that point until now, she's come like leaps and bounds.
All right, here we go, here we go.
This is a nice pace.
She still gets a little bit nervous, but not anything like the first go around. I was able to ride with her at the last event since she graduated to HPDE3, and her like demeanor in the driver's seat is amazing.
Too much.
So fast.
I've had an opportunity to ride along with a couple more like professional level racers, I guess, and you know, kind of watching them and how they handle the car compared to her. She's got a lot of those, a lot of the same things. She's becoming a really fast driver.
So we just opened up your data session.
Yeah.
And what we see here on this home screen is obviously the GPS satellite image. So you've probably already seen this from using the app. And what it's overlaying right now is the basically the percentage of time that you were seeing red lights and green lights on the racetrack. So you're running the original Gen 1 Apex Pro. So it actually shows red lights on the straightaway when you're not using all the tire's grip, if that makes sense.
Okay.
The new Gen 2 actually accommodates for these red pieces on the straight, and it'll actually show you green if you're accelerating as hard as the car can accelerate. So it's a little more intuitive to use the actual light display.
Right.
Down here, what you see is the lap time for each lap, and then the number on the right is the apex percentage. So that's the percentage of red lights versus green lights. So the higher the percentage, the more green lights you had on the lap. And green lights mean red lights are the limit of the car's potential. Green lights are how close you were to that potential. So the more green lights you saw over the course of the lap, usually the better the lap was.
Okay.
But it doesn't correlate directly with lap time. And you'll see you actually have like a high percentage on your first lap. That's because it uses artificial intelligence. So it's basically, that's a fancy
Like
word for
predicting.
saying that it learns.
Yeah.
So it sees like, oh, you've pulled this many G's at this speed through this corner, and then you did more G's and more speed through a different corner that's kind of similar.
Right.
And so it learns maybe there's a little bit more in turn 1. So like on this track, turn 1 and turn 11 are very similar. And so it knows if you're slower than you are in turn 1 than 11, or you're not pulling as many G's, it knows that to show you red lights in the corner where you're slower, basically.
Free ride is definitely sketchy. Is it really a race car if it doesn't have some body damage?
God. Oh, that was so close. Oh God, oh God.
Oh man, back in the middle.
I know. It's fucking scary.
Top is the scariest.
I can see out of the right real good, but not the left. Jesus.
I feel like you might have just slightly touched. So that's what happens when you don't have ABS.
Best Mid-Ohio lap time yet, 156. I've been running like 158. I mean, obviously I'm getting better, but like 156. 2 whole seconds down.
It's fast. It's a fast lap. She has come a long way. I definitely, even just confidence, so driving skill side, confidence has been way up.
You can tell that she knows how to communicate back now. So in the beginning, when she was new, it was very much like communicating at her. And now she's starting to give feedback. Even like we were just talking about with the brakes, she brought it in and she's like, hey, it's kind of got like a weird lockup. Like she's now doing input and output, and that's a big deal. She's driving well, her lines are good. She's in a good spot. No matter what car, you got a Dodge Neon, you got a Mazda Miata, you got Volkswagen GTI, you got BMW M3. There are two things that you need to do. You need to be ready for stuff to go wrong. It's gonna happen. Take what we're talking about here, you got some weird brake issues, but you have to be willing to diagnose it. You have to be ready and willing. And then two is, you can't think you're a hero. You're a zero when you're gonna start this. And it like sounds terrible to say, but you have to come at it with an open mind. There are no Formula One scouts here, you know, scouting out of our HPDE program. But everyone wants to go all the way fast right away. And you lose out on learning if you just try to go lapping. And that's why I wanted to bring this whole program to NASA, because NASA has instruction. They have drills. There are lapping organizations. We could have just went and done laps, but Ellen wouldn't be nearly as far as she is because she's been willing to learn and knows that she's not a hero right out of the gate. So come with an open mind, ready to learn, and be ready for those oh shit moments, because they're gonna happen.
Locked up.
Yep. Got him!
Black flag.
For you?
I'm gonna pit. Just to be safe, because you never know.
Yeah. The session's gotta be almost over anyway.
I would think so. That felt really good though.
That felt so good.
That's the first time I've gotten into fifth down the straight.
I noticed, I was watching the speedometer and it's like 120. The needle like disappears. I was like, oh shit, I've never seen it go that high before. That felt amazing.
Thank you.
I feel like it's cliche to say, but I feel like I have grown as a person and grown in my confidence as far as like what I can handle. Racing is a very mental sport, and I think it just kind of pushes my boundaries as far as confidence. I know I'm always like, oh, I'm so nervous, and I am, but at the same time you get out on track and then you're just like, wow, I can do this, and I'm gonna do it. Here it is, here I'm doing it, watch me do it. I guess there's more to racing than I would have thought. There's a lot more aspects that you have to consider, and people are probably like, oh yeah, like duh, there are. But at the same time, like you get here and you're like, oh yeah, I wouldn't have thought about that. I wouldn't have thought about this. I wouldn't have thought like you can go faster just by mental game. Like I would have never thought that. But it makes sense when you think about it like long and hard and like, oh yeah, I guess if you're just like, I feel like I'm rambling, but the more confidence you have, the faster you can go. And yeah, that can get scary, and sometimes you do need to dial that back. But
you got it. You're all right. You're all right. You're right. You're all right. 2 feet in. 2 feet in.
But the more confidence you have, the better. And I think that's just gonna kind of flow over into my general life, every day-to-day life. That yeah, I do need to have more confidence in what I do, and racing has helped me establish that. Okay, well first I guess I'd like to say thank you to Chris and his team, as they've taken me in and really showed me, you know, how you just do these weekends and what it's like to be part of this community. And it's been so much fun, and I can't wait to come back and maybe my own Miata one day and join their team and race with the best of them. I'd also like to thank just ECS for letting me come and do this, because without this opportunity I would have probably never done this, and it's changed my life, and I can't wait to come back in my own car, or hopefully come back next year in this car, which would be phenomenal. I would love that. Thank you to all the viewers as well. You guys have been there pushing us along the way and giving you guys content and your feedback as well to make our videos better. But if any of you are interested in NASA or just racing in general, feel free to reach out to us. We'd love to answer any questions that you might have. If you're nervous, share your thoughts. We love the feedback. Yeah, don't forget to like and subscribe to check out our next videos. We've got more content coming up.